starting. Here we go. Okay, hello English 102 students. I thought I'd had a video of going over the research scavenger hunt, but I don't, so here it is. In a second I'm going to share my screen that has the assignment up, and you might want to follow along as I am going over it. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Right there. Okay. Now, here is your research scavenger hunt for section 1. Now, it does say due Sunday, January 31st. Some students get confused by this. The entire project, from start to finish, all 4 sections, is due on the 31st. Section 1, your instructions: complete all the short answer questions below as completely as possible. Type your responses on a separate file. Keep in mind that a complete answer is going to differ from question to question. This is just to help you dig into the pocket style manual and familiarize yourself with it. First section is worth 25 points. Make sure that you answer all 25 and that your your answers are complete. Now, moving on to section 2. I would like you to take a look at a couple of web resources for online writers that I think are quite useful. And I would like you to copy and paste those web addresses into your web link and futz around on those sites for a little bit. The Online Writing Lab at Purdue is particularly helpful and has a lot of good resources. Your discussion of each site is worth 5 points each. The discussion is worth 5 points total. And I don't know why it says 10 points there. My apologies. I will switch it on the one you actually see. Moving on to section 3. There's a video you can watch on YouTube on documentation. Also, there is an MLA tutorial that I'd like you to go through. Once you finish this, go ahead and email it to me at my email address. So watch a video, go through the tutorial that's going to show you how to, or hopefully it's a refresher if you've had English 101, but in case you've forgotten some stuff, go through the tutorial on MLA citation, on MLA formatting, etc., and then take the quiz at the end of it. You need to get an 8 out of 10 on the quiz to get your full 5 points there. All right, and then last but not least, the research project, which is worth 70 points total, 60 for the project and 10 for the oral presentation. So what we have here is you're going to be asked to research and ID one of the 10 authors listed below. An answer consists of both a short biography of the author and an indication of their overall importance to the literary world. For example, if Susan Collins were on the list, your answer would need to include at minimum a short biography of her and the social and/or literary place of the Hunger Games trilogy. So you could discuss questions about violence that the series might bring up. In here, there has actually been sparked an interest in archery, primarily in young women, but for both men and women since the Hunger Games books and film came out. But whatever you find, you need to discuss the significance of this author, not just the biography. The biography is half of it. I'd really want you to kind of dig and explore the research to find how these authors have impacted the world. You know, how does it affect us or the literary world? Now, moving on to the next paragraph. Sources: you should use Internet Library and/or Alabama Virtual Library databases, which you should also look in non-computerized dictionaries, reference books, etc. Your answer should be followed by a list of at least 3 sources cited in MLA style. So create an MLA Works Cited page for your research project. In other words, not just your sources need to be valid, peer-reviewed material whenever possible. You cannot use book rags, 123 Help Me, SparkNotes, Wikipedia. If you remember from the syllabus, and all of you have signed the syllabus agreement, that there's an approved research material policy in the course. If your research does not come from the library databases, a database you can access from the library, or it's not a .edu or a .gov, you need to get prior approval via email from me before you can use it in a paper. So once again, if it's not a .gov, .edu, or comes from the library's website, you need to get prior approval. Format on this. Your answer should have the proper MLA format using pages 91 to 173 of a pocket style manual, and also what you learn on the tutorial. Oral presentation. I have a thread in the discussions tab in Canvas that covers this. I would like you to give a short presentation on your selected author. Your presentation should be 3 to 5 minutes and discuss something of more substance than just the biography of the author. In your presentation, please do the following. Give a brief biographical overview, like a minute at most, of the author. Then discuss why this author is significant to the literary world. What impact has this author had on people? Okay, so the authors you can choose from, and you must use an author from this list: Salman Rushdie, Thomas Stoppard, Thomas Pynchon, J.K. Rowling, J.D. Salinger, Kurt Vonnegut, Barbara Kingsolver, John Irving, George Orwell, or Jack Kerouac. Your project must be from one of these 10 authors. Now, as a bonus, after you've done one of these 10 authors, you can do Gertrude Stein, but you cannot use Stein to replace one of the 10 authors that's listed there. So I want you to report on one of these 10 authors, please. And I have the checklist for what you need to complete there at the bottom. And also the grading rubric that I'll be using to grade you. Now, one thing to keep in mind, see that using the second person, you, your, y'all, on this assignment will cause you to get a D on the grammar and mechanics grade of the paper. So make sure that you are writing in formal language. Use first person sparingly. Ideally, you should write this in the third person, but definitely eliminate the second person. All right, that's about it as far as I have on this overview of the research scavenger hunt. If you have any questions, please call, text, email, come stop by my office. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.